top focus, the arrest of former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister and TDP National President Chandrababu Naidu has triggered a political storm in the state and has led to massive protests by TDP workers. The former Chief Minister is accused of siphoning off over 371 crores meant for upskilling the unemployed youth of Andhra Pradesh, even though TDP alleges political vendetta to be the reason behind the arrest. The case actually goes back to 2014 when the then Naidu-led Andhra government released 371 crores to alleged shell companies. Now, the prosecution claims that the money released by government was diverted to fake companies through fraud invoices with no actual delivery or sale of the items mentioned in the invoices. The prosecution says that Chandrababu Naidu was the principal conspirator in the matter and the transfer of government funds to private entities through shell companies happened under his active leadership. The timing of the arrest, which comes shortly before Andhra polls, is set to become one of the biggest talking points going into the elections. Will it impact the voters of the state is something that only time is going to tell.
We were surprised and shocked when the court yesterday had sent our leader on remand. I have with me the 30-page copy of the remand report submitted by the Jagan Reddy's government. There is not even a single line in this 30-page report to prove that Chandrababu Naidu Garu had committed any kind of corruption. So without producing any kind of evidence, how can you say that Chandrababu Naidu Garu had committed a crime or was part of some kind of a corruption in the skill development issue? So it is purely political vendetta.
जैसे चंद्रबाबू नायडू को अरेस्ट किया, मैं पसंद नहीं किया, मेरे को पसंद नहीं आया। इसी के लिए अगर कोई गलती है तो आप बात करो, इंस्पेक्शन करो, इन्वेस्टिगेशन करो, तो आपका हाथ में है। लेकिन भिंडिक्टिवली किसको सब कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए, जो आने वाला समय इसको बुमेरंग हो सकता है।
He is a system manipulator, system manager, and all. He knows only that language. He is well versed with it. This is a criminal case. This is a case of corruption of high magnitude. Here, how can they call? Expect hardship to be created for people and.
So are saying that they are living in the dreams.
Dreams. They are in fool's paradise. They are completely, including whoever he is depending upon, Pawan Kalyan also. Is it a public issue? When people vote for us, when people reject a corrupt political party or corrupt leaders like Chandrababu, and that certainly for that purpose we expose him in the public. Through this, why should we, if remand comes, or remand is rejected, or bail comes, bail is not rejected, those things are that's something controlled by court.
This is a scam wherein government funds were diverted through various shell companies and finally gone in the hands of Chandrababu Naidu and his benomics, wherein we have substantial evidence. Chandrababu Naidu and his ministers and officials diverted the entire that money and withdrawn through various shell companies.
All right, these are, of course, all the reactions that are coming in. What essentially YV Subba Reddy has gone on to say is that this is a scam wherein government funds were diverted through various shell companies and finally went into the hands of Chandrababu Naidu. There is substantial evidence against Chandrababu Naidu is the reaction that is coming in. But let's take this conversation forward and try to understand, politically speaking, of course, what this is going to mean. Let me take this opportunity to introduce the guest joining me on the show, Abbaya Chowdary, YSRCP MLA, Pattabhi Ram Kommareddy, TDP National Spokesperson, Dinakar Lanka, BJP leader, and Saye Sekhar Angara, senior journalist. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here on News at 7. Pattabhi Ram, let me begin with you. Why are you calling it, why is the party calling it vendetta politics when the CID has accused Naidu of scamming public money to the tune of rupees 317 crores?
Good evening, Nivedhana. Yes, it is purely political vendetta. They don't have any kind of evidences with them. These are all baseless allegations. And if you look at the 30-page remand report which they have submitted to the court, there is absolutely no evidence in it. If they are saying that all the money that was sanctioned from the project was eaten or swindled, then from where the 42 skill development centers that are working today have come? If all the money was looted, how can the 42 skill development centers be established in our state today? How can lakhs of people get trained in those skill development centers? How did thousands of people get jobs? And you will be surprised to know that in the native village of YS Jagannath Reddy Idupalapaya, even there, Chandrababu Naidu had set up a skill development center in IIT Idupalapaya. If all the money was looted, then how come these skill development centers got established? So these are all baseless allegations. And the second thing is, Nivedhana, in the remand report which they have submitted to the court, the CAD itself, they have accepted that they don't have any evidence of the money that was looted. They are saying, I'll just read out a line. The end use of the monies which were apparently being drawn out as cash and parked with Vikas Kanvilkar are required to be ascertained. They are saying that it has to be ascertained. They are saying that they have not yet ascertained anything. Then if you have not ascertained anything and you have mentioned that in your remand report, how can you say that the money went to Chandrababu Naidu garu? On one hand, you say that nothing was ascertained, and on the other hand, you say...
Mr. Kommareddy, as you make that opening remark, are you trying to say that Chandrababu Naidu is innocent?
100%. Chandrababu Naidu garu is a spotless politician. And look at who is talking about corruption. I'll give you a recent example, Nivedhana. Magunta Srinivasul Reddy, Member of Parliament from YSR Congress Party from Ongole, had become an approver in the Delhi liquor scam. The ruling party MP in our state had agreed, had accepted that he had looted money in the Delhi liquor scam. And what action have you taken against him? And another approver in the Delhi liquor scam, Sarat Chandra Reddy, he was made a member of the TTD board. So what moral right you have to talk about corruption? Your leader, Jagan Reddy, is neck deep in corruption. There are 11 CBI charge sheets, 6 ED charge sheets. Your leader had spent 16 months in jail and he's still out on bail. And even today, you don't take any kind of action against your own party MP who had turned an approver. What is turning approver, Nivedhana? Turning an approver means agreeing, accepting that they have committed a crime.
All right, so essentially you are going on to say that there are cases against Jagan Reddy and the government, so the crackdown on corruption and the nexus over the same. I'll come back to you over that, Mr. Kommareddy, but let me get in Abbaya as well. Abbaya, the TDP, of course, says the arrest is made on flimsy grounds, no concrete evidence, just like how we heard Mr. Kommareddy also say that Chandrababu Naidu is innocent. So to make these arrests, do you think it's all about losing the upcoming elections, and something that, of course, even Pawan Kalyan has alleged too?
Thank you, Nivedhana. I mean, Pattabhi and the Telangana party are very clever to put it in the way that they wanted. But let me be very clear: there is no political vendetta here. It's a pure judicial judgment. Before the law, everyone is equal, which was exactly been followed there. I mean, coming back to the scam, I mean, I'm asking Telangana party and Mr. Pattabhi, have you announced in your during the period of Telangana party, during the cabinet meeting, they made an announcement saying they are making an MOU with Siemens, and Siemens is going to invest here, and it's a worth of 3,356 crores. Then why when Siemens was not there when the contract was made, Siemens' name was not there. They put some other name in there. And the second thing is, why would they end up sending him money when Siemens has not invested any funds into the project? When there is a project and when they have accepted that 90% of the funds will be paid by Siemens and 10% will be by the state government, without even a single penny or an expenditure for Siemens or any other company, why would you end up sending a state exchanger money into a shell companies? I mean, that clearly shows us I was asking Mr. Pattabhi, have you agreed? Have you followed the MOU terms and conditions? Have you transferred the money as per the MOU terms and conditions? There is a difference. I mean, Pattabhi was earlier talking about some skill centers that they bought up. The whole scam was about setting up center of excellences. There were 6 center of excellences that they agreed to set up. They haven't set up a single center of excellence, and then there was no there was no funds came in from them, but the state government went on spending the money. Would clearly indicates there is a scam being done by them. I mean, it clearly indicates there was a scam. See, there is no, we don't need to go into political vendetta here. We trust the people, and people of AP trust us. We have full confidence on the election, and election is with the people of AP, not with Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. So we don't have any personal gain of putting Chandrababu Naidu behind the bar. This is purely if somebody has done an economical offense, absolutely. It's a CID and ACB that's saying this is meticulously planned.
Mr. Chowdary, what you're going on to say is that there is no political vendetta because this is an arrest that has come after thorough investigation. I'm going to come back to all of you just in a couple of minutes. I do understand that Nara Lokesh has reacted on this as well. Let's listen into that conversation first.
Chandrababu Naidu Garu is directly involved in this scam, in this 371 crores scam, which he directly received the kickbacks. That is what YSRCP leaders are alleging. And when it comes to the arguments, yesterday severe arguments took place between the prosecution and this counsel. So you were inside. You also tried to put your point. Even Babu had tried to put his point that he's not involved or false cases implicated. So how do you see this? The war between the TDP and the YSRCP. TDP is saying that false cases implicated. YSRCP is saying that clinching evidence is there, and that is the reason he was sent to the jail.
What is the clinching evidence? I will ask YSRCP a straight question. What is the clinching evidence? Is there a signature of Mr. Naidu? Our government follows what we call a green note. It's a file, a digital file. It's green in color. So a digital file, is there Mr. Naidu's signature? Or have they been able to prove that monies of a crime have come to his account or his family's account, or any assets were purchased where we are the benefactors of those assets? Nothing. Please read the remand report. They have not been able to prove anything in it. In fact, there was an ED investigation in the past on this case, and ED has clearly stated that there is no money laundering in this case. So what more do they want?
But they are saying that money laundering is involved, FEMA is involved, and GST has exposed it in 2018. And how do you see this, sir? So is this going political, or one side they are saying that criminal conspiracy, one side it is going political completely?
I mean, if you look at this, it's quite funny. Which is the agency that has investigated? It's CID, which is a state investigative agency. Right? It's filled with his henchmen. It's not ED, it's not CBI, it's not any of the other regulatory agencies. It's an agency filled with his henchmen. And the state is conveniently using this agency to target Mr. Naidu. It's nothing but political vendetta. It's quite clear.
And you're also calling Chief Minister as psycho. Why is that, sir?
I mean, that's because of his behavior. And this is not something new. I think for the last 2.5 years, this is a name that we've given him because of his erratic behavior. And arresting Mr. Naidu is one such erratic behavior. So therefore, I think it's fair that we can call him a psycho Jagan.
All right, that was my colleague Samit getting us that Mirror Now exclusive reaction as well from Nara Lokesh. But let me take that conversation forward that I was also having with Mr. Chowdary earlier before we did slip into that conversation. Mr. Chowdary, you heard what Nara Lokesh had to say, some strong statements as well as far as against Jagan Mohan Reddy is also concerned. What does the party have to say about this? Because he's also gone on to say there's no concrete evidence and it's not the ED or the CBI essentially. It is politically motivated.
Nivedhana, just a straightforward question. Have they signed a dubious MOU with Siemens or not? And has Siemens invested anything in the state of Andhra Pradesh related to this MOU? Has they allowed the terms and agreements of the MOU? Because as per the terms and agreement, 90% will have to be paid by Siemens and 10% will be paid by the state exchanger. Without even a penny being spent by Siemens, and why did state government have to release the amount 351 odd crores? Why do they need to release that funds? And let me be very clear. With the ACB, ED and APCID following up the trail, it has found 241 crores was diverted to several shell companies such as Allied Computers, Skillers India Private Limited, Knowledge Podium, Kendon's Partners, ETA Greens, even without receiving any software or hardware from the skill development. So it clearly shows that the money has been sent through the shell companies and there are Hawala transactions happened. That was a claim not made by YSRCP. It was done by the CID itself in their charge sheet. They were clearly called out in the remand report. They have clearly called out saying that they have clear-cut evidence. So who made the judgment of sending him to the behind the bar? Is it YSRCP? No, it is a judicial judgment that came in. If YSRCP wanted to do a political vendetta, we would have done it in first year itself. Why would we wait till now to do when the elections were approaching? But the law has to take its own course. Before the law, everybody is equal, and which has been followed. And Lokesh can say any number of things. He's calling the chief minister of the state as a psycho because he himself lost an election. He is involved in multiple scams, and the people are not accepting him when he was doing a Padayatra. And there's a clear evidence that YSRCP is coming back to power with various surveys. So it's not Jagannath Reddy that is psycho here. It's Lokesh that acting as a psycho and behaving like a psycho in the streets of Andhra Pradesh today.
All right, Mr. Chowdary. So, of course, the party goes on to reiterate this is not a political, vendetta. Mr. Kommareddy, I am going to come back to you, but I would have to also get in our other guests also to make a quick point. Mr. Angara, let me get you into this conversation. What do you make of this political situation for the TDP, especially for a state that is clearly, of course, poll-bound? How does this arrest, in your view, impact the polls? Mr. Angara, if you can hear me.
Who are you asking? Nivedhana?
I'm asking you, what do you make of this political situation for the TDP, especially for a state that is poll-bound?
Oh, I am Saye Sekhar.
How does this arrest clearly impact the polls?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you.
Okay. So, I have to make 2 points.
Yes, Mr. Angara, go ahead.
One, that with regard to impact on the polls, I have my own reservations. Polls and these cases don't actually get intertwined. And TDP should not expect any sympathy from people because of the arrest of Mr. Naidu. TDP can campaign among the people about the follies of the YSRCP government and expose them. And also they can showcase whatever they have done during their tenure. Mr. Naidu's tenure as the chief minister, he has the distinction of being the longest serving chief minister for the undivided Andhra Pradesh, and also he was the maiden chief minister for the truncated Andhra Pradesh. So whatever work they have done, they can showcase that and ask for vote and defeat YSR Congress. This should be the TDP stand. And even if TDP claims that, Mr. Naidu has been unfortunately and unnecessarily put behind bars without any rule and rhyme, I don't think they can curry favor in that sense, because I don't think Naidu's arrest is going to impact the polls in that sense, because when Jagannath Reddy was arrested in 2012 and was released in 2013, and Andhra Pradesh went to polls in 2014, he contested for the top job. But people have rejected him. They have not accepted him, and they elected Mr. Chandrababu Naidu as the chief minister. So arrest will not generate any sympathy, and that is not going to have any impact on the polls.
Okay. Okay, so we'll of course get talking further about that as to what political reactions as far as this is concerned, is, with the statement that you make. But let me also get in Mr. Dinakar here. Mr. Dinakar, the Jan Sena party extends its support to the TDP for the Bandh that we're witnessing. But what is the BJP's stance on the allegations against Naidu? Where does the party stand in this?
We have 2 different categories. We bifurcated entire episode. A pre-ACB court verdict and post-ACB court verdict, 2 categories. In these 2 categories, the pre-ACB court verdict, whatever the procedure adopted by the state government to arrest Chandrababu Naidu Garu, they behaved out of rules. They haven't followed appropriate procedure. We questioned that. We had condemned the way in which the state government used the police machinery against opposition party leader. As far as post-court verdict is concerned, once the matter stepped into the judiciary, definitely matter is sub judice. Hence, as per the direction of the court, we need to follow the remaining things, whatever the happening right now. And as far as the right of the alleged person, NCB and Nara Chandrababu Naidu is concerned, definitely he has his right to approach for bail or whatever the appeal he wants for the next best court so as to get protect his rights. That is the scenario. In these conditions, allegations and counter allegations of ruling party and opposition party never serve the purpose, because once the matter step into the court, if the government wants to prove the guilty, definitely the burden of proof lies on the state government. And if it is not proved by the state government, definitely Naidu will become as innocent and he comes out from the corruption charges. This is the real situation as of now. But after watching the entire episode, there is a vindictive politics which is going on in the state of Andhra Pradesh by the ruling YSRCP party. We have seen so many cases in which how they handled, how they are being get into the bars, various people. If we observe that they haven't used appropriate procedures, methods as per the enactments which stipulates. That is the main point what we want to spell out, and we don't want to give any support. Once the court has given verdict, definitely law will take its own course of action. Nobody is above the law. So if you have seen the case study of Gujarat rights after the happening that Modi ji 9 times he went to cooperate for investigation, he proved innocent. Amit Shah ji himself has been out of Gujarat due to the court direction. Once again, after clearing all the charges, he became now Home Minister of India. This is the way in which BJP.
All right, Mr. Lanka, I'd have to interject you there, but essentially you're going on to state that let the charges be approved, but the manner in which this was carried out, of course, is questionable, and you're also going on to call it vendetta politics. But Abbaya Chowdary, let me come back to you. In that opening remark that Kommareddy was also making, that the TDP is accusing the YSRCP of being corrupt. I will come back. I will come to you. Just give me a few minutes. Mr. Chowdary, even claiming cases against Jagan Reddy, if you want to have a crackdown against the nexus of corruption, begin with own government netas is what they say. How do you respond to that? Mr. Kommareddy, I'm going to come back to you, but let me just pose this question to Mr. Chowdary first.
Vedana, I think, there is no political vendetta as I repeatedly say here, because if it is political vendetta, then we would have arrested Chandrababu Naidu and do the same kind of politics in the year one. So when we are 6 months or 7 months near to the election, why would we go into a political vendetta here? I think, but the law has to take its own course. And if there is an economic offense, and that's been clearly marked out, even in the initial FIR, Chandrababu Naidu name was not there. But after a thorough investigation of a period of 2 years, there is a clear evidence. And the CID itself was clearly saying it was meticulously planned, directed, and executed by Chandrababu Naidu and his team. And he is completely aware of this entire transaction. So my question to Telangana party is, have you signed a dubious MOU with Siemens? Have you transferred the funds? Why did you transfer the funds when there was no setup on the ground? When there was
Mr. Chowdary, although you do make that point, my question was more on the lines of the fact that the TDP is accusing the YSRCP of being corrupt, even claiming that cases against Jagan Reddy or other ministers. So if you essentially want to have a crackdown against the nexus of corruption, begin with your own government netas is what they have to say. How do you respond to that viewpoint?
See, whatever cases that were there on our Honorable CM, we believe it was done on a political vendetta as well. I mean, absolutely. When did the charges came in and when was he put in behind? But we went to the people and we explained to the people that it was done with vendetta, and people has elected us and given and unanimously elected Honorable CM Jagan Mohan Reddy. So the people are with YS Jagan Mohan Reddy, even though any number of political vendettas was done by Congress and TDP together at that point of time. So absolutely, when the election comes in, people will decide, and people has clearly favored Jagan Mohan Reddy after even he was put in behind the bar by the political vendetta done by the Telangana party and the Congress. So people of AP are very clever enough. They can understand what is a political vendetta, what is not. So here we are not doing any political vendetta here at all. I mean, if we had need to do it, we would have done it in the first year itself. But Chandrababu Naidu, he has to come clean, prove it in the
All
judiciary
right, you're saying
court of law.
if that was the
It's not,
aspect
the judgment
of it,
was not given by
then that
Jagan
would have
Mohan
been
Reddy
carried
to
out
send
by
him
the
to
party
Red Hand
earlier. But Mr. Kommareddy, let me come to you. Before we wrap up, what will TDP's next action be now?
See, Nivedhana, Mr. Chowdary does not have any kind of knowledge on the skill development project. He's talking about MOU, dubious MOU. Have you seen the MOU which was made in Gujarat when Mr. Modi was chief minister? Have you seen the MOU made in Karnataka? Have you seen the MOU made by Siemens and Design Tech in 9 other states? Even in Gujarat, it is the same MOU. Can you blame Mr. Modi? Do you have the courage to say that Mr. Modi had committed a crime by signing this kind of MOU with Siemens? You don't know. You have zero knowledge about this project. And the other thing is, whatever Siemens had invested is in the form of a software which is valued at thousands of crores, and the valuation was done by a Central Institute of Tool Design, a central government body, CITD. So without having any kind of knowledge, don't come on to national media and make some baseless allegations on a project which is helping lakhs of unemployed youth. And the other thing is, Nivedhana, he is not responding to the Delhi liquor scam. I have asked him a straight question. Your own party MP Maganta Srinivasulu Reddy has turned an approver in the Delhi liquor scam. He has accepted that he had looted crores of rupees in the Delhi liquor scam. Why are you not responding to that? And he's talking about centers not being set up. I throw a challenge to you. Let's go to the skill development center in Idipalapaya, your chief minister's native village. You will find out the equipment there, software working there, lakhs of students getting trained there. So these are all baseless allegations. The other thing is, Nivedhana, they are afraid of Chandrababu Naidu Garu. They are afraid of Nara Lokesh Garu because Yuvagalam Padayatra is a huge success. They want to distance Chandrababu Naidu Garu from the people because every day Chandrababu Naidu Garu is exposing Jagan Reddy's corruption. They have eaten 40,000 crores only in sand. They have looted 40,000 crores only in sand. It was exposed by Chandrababu Naidu Garu. So they doesn't want Chandrababu Naidu Garu to go to the public because every day he is exposing the corruption in this Jagan Reddy's government. And he's saying that, no, if there was evidence, we would have arrested in the first year itself. Yes, from the past 4.5 years, you have not found a single piece of evidence against him.
All right, Mr. Kommareddy, I'm afraid we're running out of time. But what you essentially say is that the YSRCP is afraid of Chandrababu Naidu and Nara Lokesh. But of course, what Abbaya Chowdary also went on to say is that the people of Andhra Pradesh will make up their mind and answer during the elections as well. But I want to thank all of you for joining me here this evening. But for the moment, we leave the conversation at that. We're stepping in a short break on News in 7. Lots more coming up on the other side. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.